Uzi, how are you?
I'm okay. The
Yeah.
stock market is a little gory, but I'm a big boy now. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, that unemployment report was weaker than expected, obviously. The unemployment rate came in higher than expected. And 4.3% now. The SOM rule has been triggered officially. And macro analysts predicted this. Kudos to macro analysts. So
Very smart guy. Very smart.
yeah, very smart guy. Very handsome. West Hicks.
Well, I guess I just realized you're not macro analyst. This whole time I thought you were.
Happy
Friday.
You got me. Happy Friday.
It's the best I can do, man.
I'm testing a different connection today. So let me know if there's any issues with audio issues, whether
perfect.
on X or YouTube. And let's bring everybody up. Chicago is listening, says Salzburg. Let's see, how is the audio? Omar's here too. We have 1 hour today. Okay, 56 minutes. Oh no. Alexander, what's up, Uzi?
You cut out. And Omar didn't say anything.
Okay, Omar, how are you doing?
Hey, doing great.
What do you think about this market plunge?
I love it. I mean, on days like today, I say, thank you, Mr. Market. You remember that old quote about Warren Buffett and your crazy neighbor, Mr. Market, who's very moody? Well, today's one of those days. The market's just dumping. People are fearful. We saw some softening in the labor market, unemployment ticking up a little higher than expected, fewer new jobs created than expected. It does seem like generally when you look at the labor market, when you look at even, the equity markets, you are seeing a little bit of a slowdown that I think is helping make the case for a September cut. And, the Fed Watch tool actually saw the chance of a 50 basis point cut, not a 25 basis point cut, a 50 in September, going up from about 11 to, I think, 60 or 70%, according to Joe Weisenthal from Bloomberg. So I think it's, kind of what you want to see for rates to start coming down. There needs to be a justification for it. And I think that ultimately will be very beneficial for Tesla as rates do start coming down. I think there'll be a rate cut winner. And so, when you have a stock like this that should really be, I think, a $300 stock if the market really understood how advanced their AI technology has become, and it's trading at close to 200, it's just, okay, if I put $100 in here, it'll probably turn into 150 within the next 12 months. Not financial advice, but I'm glad for days like this. And, we may have more rough days ahead. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, but I think there's also a lot of incredible technology transformation happening right now behind the scenes as well.
Thank you. Alex, welcome. How are you?
Doing good, thanks. You? It's Friday.
It is Friday, yes. You have a space tonight, right, Alex?
Oh, yeah, have a space. I think it's a really important space because, we talk a lot about like Cybertruck, Hollywood stars and, celebrities and wraps and wheel designs and, truck pulls and all these kinds of stuff. But this is a guy that's actually working with a Cybertruck on his farm. And he says it's the best thing he's ever owned. And he's owned multiple diesel. And he's going to come talk to us about it. It's going to be an AMA. So you can come and ask him anything. People think it's a stunt by Tesla, that he's not a real farmer. because in his videos, he actually shows, where he lives. And he's actually living in a subdivision, a nice house in a subdivision. And people are saying, well, this is fake. It's obviously fake. And blah, blah, blah. So yeah, he's going to be on tonight, 9:30 Eastern time. And we're going to be covering that. Hope a lot of people come and join and ask some the tough question, because Cybertruck is a real truck. And according to this guy, it's the best thing he's ever owned. So that's cool.
Okay, good. I might be there too. So you said 9 or 9:30?
9:30 Eastern time.
Okay, perfect.
6:30 Pacific time.
All right, great. Let's see. Michelle, what's going on with you?
Well, I'm turning off and then back on a bunch of stuff. That's what I usually do. But my eyes were on Chuck Cook spotting Cybertruck trying his left turn. So that's a good sign, I guess.
Wow, yeah, that's really good. Omar, so FSD is coming to Cybertruck finally soon, huh?
Yeah, typically when you see the FSD testers, Tesla's FSD testers doing Chuck Cook's left, it's usually about a week or two from being released at most. So I think probably before the end of the month, we are going to see FSD 12.5 on the Cybertruck.
Okay, great. Just a quick note. Some of you received an email this morning about YouTube memberships. The YouTube memberships, there's an administrative issue that I'm on it right now, prioritizing. I'm going to get it handled by tonight or tomorrow. But the systems will take about 2 to 3 weeks to update. So if you've gotten into the membership, you can view the Dirty Tesla video. If you haven't, then tough luck. You're going to have to wait 2 to 3 weeks. And I will likely send I'll try to find a way of doing this, but I'm going to send the video to my patrons as well. So they'll have a 2 to 3 week exclusive. We'll get this as well. So just an administrative issue. I'm on it. Okay. Miss Libby? You guys see Miss Libby as a speaker? I can't hear her.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Omar, what's going on with, so we have 12.5.1 in about 10% of the eligible fleet. Is this the same 10% that just keeps getting these updates before it rolls out wide, like 12.4 and in budget dot versions of 12.4 and then 12.5, 12.51? Is this the same 10% cars?
Well, there's probably some overlap, but I know there are a lot of cars that are hardware 3 cars that are still on 12.4 just because 12.5 hasn't been made available for hardware 3 yet. So there's some that are the same, some that are different. And next week, when hardware 3 support's added to 12.5 in 12.5.2, then we should see the numbers expand to a lot higher percentage. Hopefully this weekend we see it roll out to a lot more hardware 4 customers. This is a pretty great build, and I think if everyone got to experience it, we'd probably be having a pretty different conversation about where Tesla is with FSD.
There's a poll. Somebody put a poll in the replies and said, which one is going to get FSD first, Cybertruck or Hardware 3? What do you think?
Right now it's looking like hardware 3.
Okay. Alexander, how are you?
Hello guys, I'm good. I bought some
Yeah.
more stock today and yesterday, so I'm happy with that.
Okay, great. I think you put out a tweet yesterday and said, for every like, I'm going to buy a share. I liked it twice. Did you buy 2 shares?
I bought 8 shares. That's 4 more likes than I got. So yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Let's see. Elon has been very active about FSD predictions, right, Omar? He said average miles per disengagement is going to double in August. I don't want to misquote him, but I don't have the tweet in front of me.
I think he said there's
Yeah.
a clear path.
He did say
Okay.
that.
Right. And it's hard to find these FSD tweets now because there's a lot of other stuff.
It was a reply to Omar.
Okay.
Or was it?
Or
I
it was
don't
a
know.
reply to somebody that had replied to you, I think, maybe. Yeah, that's it. You want me
Right,
to
Wes- yeah,
share it?
yeah, go ahead, Alex. And Wessex?
Hey, Yaman, did you have the AI call or space the other night? I was unable to find it. And if you did, how was it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was going to be a brainstorming session. It was on about half hour, 45 minutes. And there were some audio issues, so I couldn't publish it. I mean, I just don't want to publish something that you can hear half of it. And I made some changes after that. So, but you're not missing anything. There wasn't anything. We discussed a couple of things, but nothing earth-shattering. So there will be more in the future, but I just need to focus on a couple other things right now. Alex, did you share it?
Hold on, I'm getting back to your, I'm trying to find your, because I left the page where it was. I'm just going to put it in the chat any second now.
Okay,
Oh, you wanted
while
me to post it up there, or
No, it's fine.
I'll put it.
While you find that, Tesla Live is sponsored by Joa Life. The code is at the top of your screens, TSLA Live, to get 5% off your purchases. If you go through the link at the top, it just makes it easier. It applies the code already. And thank you very much for the 5 people who purchased products from Joa Life. I get 5% of your sale. I don't think I see what you bought or who bought what. Maybe that's privacy thing. I see that 122 people clicked on that link. 95% went around the website. I mean, 95 of them, 78% went around the website. 17 people added products to their carts, and 5 people checked out. So, that's good. Good conversion. I think Wessex would probably know these conversion rates better.
High conversion. Hey,
Yeah.
I have to run in a few minutes for a pickleball game, but I think everybody that had a reservation in for the Cybertruck today received the Foundation Series design your Cybertruck email. So I think it went out to everybody today. I received 3 of them. Other people have been posting it online and stuff. So I don't know what that means, but maybe that means we're at the end of the run, if you will.
Yeah. So you think the $80,000 version is coming soon?
I think this is Tesla's last attempt saying, okay, let's just let everyone have this email now, configure these things. Let's see how many take it. And then from there, they'll have clarity as to when they start going with the next versions. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Wessex. Luce?
I had a question for Omar and Yana. So, do you think the Tesla stock has reached its bottom? How do you think the stock will react to the robotaxi reveal? And how do you think it will react to an eventual EV tax credit removal?
Omar, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about any of those things. If you try and worry about whether the stock's going to go up or down every day, you're going to lose your mind and you're never going to be able to hold the shares to 1,000 or 2,000, right? So, this is a very long-term thing here. Right now, 0% of the world's cars are autonomous. 100% are going to be autonomous. Right now, or less than 10% of the world's cars are electric. All of them are going to be electric. So there's going to be a lot of ups and downs along the way. The tax credit may go away and the next quarter sales may be bad as a result, right? But does that change the long-term thesis about autonomy and about Optimus? No. So really, as long as I still believe that they're in a position to bring robo-taxis to the mass market better than any other company, I just continue accumulating shares. If it goes down, then I buy more. If it goes up a lot, then I buy less. And that's really just how I'm kind of thinking about it. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs along the way, but nobody is in a position to scale robo-taxis like they are.
All right. Yeah, Luce, I've been talking about this economic downturn for a while now. I think the Fed is too late in cutting rates. And when they do start cutting rates, I don't know if it's going to be fast enough. Today's employment report shows that the employment market is weakening quicker than expected, as we've been talking about in here for many months. And I think there may be some downside. On the other hand, like Omar mentioned, Tesla has quite a few advantages going for it. For example, the balance sheet is very clean, not much debt on there, as opposed to, say, Ford, GM's balance sheets. I think they're going to get hit hard. Also, Tesla benefits from the growth of Tesla Energy. Tesla Energy is profitable, growing. It's pretty much independent from the automotive side of things. That's going to support Tesla's market cap as well. Who knows, like Omar said, about any sort of short-term movements, any sort of dislocations from the market that may happen. But I just don't know. Like, I'm not. I don't know if it's worth trying to sell a few shares here and there and try to time the market. The opportunity ahead is very large. And for those of you who watched Dirty Tesla video, I recommend listening to the Optimus part again. That discussion was very eye-opening for me. And I'm going to send a copy of that to the patrons, hopefully tonight or tomorrow. Okay. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Okay, good. Joan Knopp.
Okay, this is the first time I'm speaking on Spaces. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Yeah.
I have a question concerning the Cybertruck. And I live in Sweden, and I have conflicting information whether as we're getting the Cybertruck in Europe or not. Does anybody know or have any information?
Omar?
Yeah, they seem to really be focusing on North America right now. The production's still fairly limited, so they're really focusing on the North American market. There is one person I think who had a Cybertruck imported into Germany and had it homologated for the European market. So I think it is possible to do that, but there's going to be a number of design changes that have to be made to bring it to that market. So I wouldn't hold my breath on it happening anytime soon, but maybe after North American production ramps, there's a chance we could see a European version or an international version.
Are you saying then that it's a shorter version, or?
We'll see. I mean, they have talked about doing a slightly smaller Cybertruck in the past, or maybe just keeping it the same size and making some changes for the international markets, but they haven't really been talking much about this. The focus right now is really just on ramping it up for North America. I mean, even Canada doesn't have it yet, right? The Canadians are like, "Hey, we're dying over here. Give us our Cybertruck."
Yeah.
So we're still at the early stages. Once it expands beyond the US, beyond Canada, and maybe they see an opportunity to sell some additional units, they have excess production capacity, then we might hear more about international markets.
Okay, thank you, Alex.
Yeah, I was just going to add, like this morning it came out that there's one in the Czech Republic if you want. It's like $240,000 though.
Wow. I think Machine is getting ready to buy that one. Right, Machine?
Johan, du kan ha inte har un Cybertruck.
Stop cursing in my spaces. This is why I'm losing monetization.
Cybertruck för amerikansk personer, inte svensk. Amerikansk personer är stor, du svensk är lite.
He's all out of breath.
Oh my god.
He's all out of breath.
Seriously. What are you doing? I'm gonna send that Turkish
Wait,
man
I'm
after you.
exercising. Unlike the rest of you, fat Americans, that's what I said. You're too big. So I told him in Swedish. He's little. I actually exercise very, 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 very strong. Much bigger, stronger than the rest of you.
You exercise very, very strong. Okay.
Yeah, I also exercise. You know with who?
Yeah, okay. AR.
Hi. I've got a question for the testers of FSD. I got 12.5.1 a couple of days ago. I've gone on about 4 drives, and no question, on the road, it's a lot more confident and definitely feels like a step change. But it's doing a few weird things. And I think I may have seen comments from Omar, maybe someone else. One of the things it did, I was on a route, and I was driving by a park with a large parking lot, and it went into the parking lot off of the blue line route, went into the parking lot, drove through the parking lot, and then came back out another exit back out onto my route. So it did everything and handled everything perfectly, but it very strangely just kind of temporarily veered off its path. And the other thing that it did that was weird was I was leaving a parking lot, and I think Omar may have commented on this once. It just wouldn't go. Like, I engaged it to start, and then I had to tap on the accelerator a few times, and then it kind of got going. So I guess my question is this a regression? Are these just minor bug fixes that maybe just didn't get addressed, and then try to get this out as quickly as possible? Because even though 12.3.6 wasn't as confident or as good as 12.5.1, but it never threw these kind of like really odd, obvious errors at me. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, these are just bugs, obviously. I've experienced the one where it won't start. You just have to press the accelerator and then it'll get going. So, usually when you see a bug in FSD, it's usually a new feature gone wrong. So they're actually trying to improve something. They're trying to make it better, but the new feature doesn't always work 100% of the time. So, for example, in 12.5, it's now much better at waiting for the right moment to go before going. So, for example, if you turn it on a busy street, it's less likely to just kind of start driving and jump out into traffic, and more likely to wait and find the right moment and then pull out. But sometimes this can manifest in a bug where it's just waiting forever and it's just kind of like jerking around a little bit, but it never goes. So this is just a bug. They'll probably fix it in 12.5.2 or something. Meanwhile, you can just hit the accelerator to get it to go. And then, now it can actually go off its route in order to go. And then, now it can actually go off its route in order to achieve its objective based on what it's seeing in the vision system. It can override what's on the map. So, for example, if the road is closed or there's construction, or I had an example where a new on-ramp got built. So the map was telling it to go a different route, but it could actually see that the freeway on-ramp was right there. So it just went onto that new on-ramp just based on vision, even though the map directions were telling it to do something different. So this is a new feature, but it can sort of malfunction, as you described with the parking lot, where for some reason it thought it needed to go into the parking lot. Probably it thought either the road was closed or that this was the turn it needed to make or something. It was incorrect. And, hopefully that improves in a future build.
Okay, great. Jesus Love?
Oh, one more thing I want to mention. They seem to have added some new capabilities to fix bugs much faster without a full update. So, like that on-ramp, for example, that I noticed, it was doing it incorrectly. Then just next time I did it, it just did it correctly. And I was like, wow, how did they fix it that quickly? And I'm hearing more and more people report stories like this where a bug gets fixed really quickly.
Okay. Hawaii, only 10 words. 10 words only. We only have half hour left. Go ahead.
The post by Sawyer about everybody getting the chance to Cybertruck purchase.
Okay. Yeah, we just mentioned that I think earlier. Wes Hicks mentioned that we might be getting to the end of Foundation Series production deliveries, and hopefully soon. Nobody knows when that is. $80,000 version will be produced and delivered. Okay, great. Machine, what did you think of today's employment numbers?
Not very good. Not good, Johnny. Sounds like
Yeah.
everyone's itching. You guys are salivating, getting wet down below at the thought of interest rates finally getting cut. And it's probably going to happen. So, congrats. Maybe Tesla can not have to cut prices $2,000 more like they're doing right now. So it should boost margins eventually. Q4.
You think we're going to see an improvement in margins in Q4?
Well, I'm just saying if people are worried about recession, and that's legitimate, but I think a lot of people who've been trying to buy Teslas already have had financial issues from tightening, lack of jobs, and I think that's why we've already had depressed prices. And I don't know how much worse it's going to get from that perspective over the next few months. And I think if there are interest rate cuts, maybe I'm too aggressive with Q4 that will allow Tesla to raise prices a little bit, because maybe it'll take a little longer because people are still going to be a little fearful in the market. So maybe it'll be Q1, Q2, but I'm not, if everything else was equal and they cut, that should help Tesla a little bit. I know everything else isn't equal though.
Omar.
Yeah, we cut interest rates 25 basis points because you don't have a job. Perfect time to go buy a new Tesla. You don't have any income anymore, but now you're paying 5.75% interest instead of 6.
My point is that these people are already lost these jobs that were trying to buy Teslas. You could be right. You could say that people didn't lose their jobs and they just stopped buying Teslas the last 2 years. That's not a good sign for Tesla if you think that.
No, I mean, I agree with you. Coming to the end of this crazy, unprecedented rate hike and this tightening cycle is a good thing. I mean, this was devastating for Tesla's core business, really. But at the same time, the rate cuts are going to happen gradually, probably 25 or 50 basis points at a time. And usually, for the rate cuts to be justified, there has to be significant economic weakness. So as they're coming down, at least, yes, the rate cuts are an improvement. But if there's underlying economic weakness, then that could contribute to weaker auto sales as well. So it's not just necessarily going to be, okay, September rate cut, this is all done. It's going to take probably a number of quarters to start to see a positive impact from that.
Machine, do you agree with that? It's going to take a number of quarters for Tesla to see a positive impact from any rate cuts.
I don't think you're going to see much there's no way in Q3, of course, right? So the first is maybe Q4. And if there's a rate cut in September, I think that would feed through at least to a little lower interest rates that Tesla could offer, or obviously not have to pay down as much for their financing in Q4. But if you're basically saying what's happening right now in the economy, even if Tesla doesn't change anything, that they're going to get less sales, that is possible. So I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion.
Okay. Are you still net neutral on Tesla? Can you stop running for like 10
This is
minutes?
ridiculous, dude. I'm trying to lift weights, and everyone here expects me
Why?
to answer.
Why?
Right?
Why?
And
Why do you have to do it right now?
This is the time I got, buddy.
This is way more important.
It's not important.
Interest
This
rates,
space is
car
very-
sales, Tesla margins. Who cares about your biceps?
This space is a waste. You know, the top speakers here are very sensitive folks. The most sensitive I've ever heard. Anytime you mention hardware 3, they get super triggered. And I don't know. You know, I don't know if it's the water in Montreal, wherever this one fake Canadian is, or Omar. These guys are always subtweeting me. And you want to ask me about my position in Tesla? I did actually start selling some puts today. I don't know if you guys understand what that means. It's too technical for you, but that is a bullish thing.
What's your strike price?
I did at the money, 215.
What? Wow.
Well,
interesting.
You know, it's a flat play. Even if it stays flat, I will get, I forget, 5% return over 2 weeks. So
well, if it goes down?
Well, obviously, I have only about, if it goes down 5% or less, then I still break even or make money. And if it goes down more than 5%, then obviously I lose money. But, you know, that's been my
So essentially, you're expressing a view that you don't expect the stock price to decline more than 5% at this time.
Yeah, or if it does, I don't mind owning some shares.
Tesla going down 5% is like nothing that could happen just because it's Tuesday. There's a good chance you could lose money on this options trade.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you understand. I'll explain it to you.
No, I think we pretty much understand. The problem is you're assuming, here's the logical mistake you're making. Okay. You're like, I would want to, so if you didn't make this trade, okay, if it was given that you would buy the shares here anyway, then I guess you're somewhat correct. But if let's assume the future that the stock price goes down 10%, and you had waited to buy shares and you bought them after they went down 10%, then you're off 5%. Is that not correct?
Wow. So you're saying if I perfectly predicted the market, I would make more money?
Yeah. So the problem is, no, the only thing is when you talk like that, oh, it's a flat trade. I wouldn't mind buying share. I wouldn't mind owning shares at lower price, etc. You're just kind of giving the false sense to people that some of these option strategies are, you know, win no lose, which obviously there's no free lunch.
There's no free lunch. I did not mean flat trade as in it's impossible to lose money. What I meant was just simply that I expect Tesla possibly on average to stay flat and I will make money on that. And there's a trade-off on upside. Selling puts is less risky, as you know, than owning shares with less upside. So that's the trade-off. And I moved all my positions in the market into selling puts and calls the last month because I was fearful of this sort of market correction. So I'm at least down less than if I was just even holding index funds right now. So I'm kind of
okay. So here's your risk then. If you're selling both puts and calls, and IV surges because of some sort of volatility, then you're kind of screwed, aren't you?
Market wide, I mean, across so many stocks, it's not really a big issue. You see it temporarily when the IV went up early. I think it was early this week, and then went back down. But I'm not doing weeklies, so I'm not worried about volatility because that's not something that usually stays elevated for a long time across all stocks. It's not usually a big deal.
Okay. Well, I wish you the best. Obviously, I want the best for everybody. So at a minimum, you're kind of expressing a view that you don't expect the stock price to plunge any more than 5-10%, whatever, if that happens. and you don't expect some sort of market-wide, financial market-wide dislocation where, recession happens, uncertainty increases, VIX surges type of thing, like a Great Recession.
This is just a 2-week out expiry. I mean, there's definitely a chance. I mean, we're probably going lower at some point in the next few months. I just don't know how much is over the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so like 2 seconds ago, when you said you're not doing weeklies, you meant you're doing 2 weeks.
In general, sorry, for all my other positions, no.
Dude, you know what the problem is? You're like not paying attention to what you're saying, and you're trying to pump iron at the same time, and it's getting to your head.
It is an issue. I can't multitask.
Yeah. Why don't you like bring your wife to this space every now and then so we can hear actual good opinions?
Yeah, some
whole
common
space.
sense a little bit.
So the whole space. Well, that's true, and the whole space would be criticizing me, and you guys would absolutely love it. You would just ask her questions, be like, "Oh yeah, he's like this. He's just a fake pretender. Can't do shit." You would love it.
Yeah. Okay. 20 minutes. What else do you guys want to talk about? Omar, anything to add to what he was talking about just now? If not, Uzi.
I mean, just buy and hold shares. This is like the craziest stock the market has ever seen. Trying to predict what price it's going to be at it's like playing with dynamite, You might say, hey, look, I'm juggling the dynamite. It's working. It's not blowing up. One day it's going to blow up. And you're going to be back to living at your mom's house, which will be awkward when you hear me banging her.
Very awkward.
That was very good. Uzi.
How about the dry cathode battery for the Cybertruck? And
very good. Thank you. We didn't talk about that yet. Alex, you want to take it from here?
What do you mean take it from here?
Well, you are our physics, chemistry, our scientist of the space.
No, but
You got
like they
this.
just like Tesla announced that, they we've known before because I think Joe Tegmeyer basically took a photo on one of his like drone flights. He caught like a black Cybertruck, and then I don't remember his name now, but the guy in charge of 4680 that replaced Baglino basically replied to that post and said, yeah, this is our dry cathode. And I think it was yesterday maybe, Tesla basically posted that they had like succeeded with the dry cathode, which is basically like they had the dry anode, which means like no solvents, no nothing. They just apply a paste to the aluminum foil. On the cathode, they apply the paste on the copper foil. And yeah, it's a big breakthrough because they were having troubles with that. And now they got it to work. So both sides are dry, and it's great news. It's a long time coming because they were talking about this back in 2020 at Battery Day. So it's been a long time coming, but now apparently it's become a reality that that little patent they bought from Maxwell Technologies about this process was obviously not, it didn't come with an instruction manual of how to do it exactly, but they figured it out, and it's big news.
All right, Machine, what do you think? Thank you, Alex.
It's definitely a positive development. We don't know, though, yet how well this can scale at volume production. So that's to be determined, and the cost. Obviously, if they're optimistic, oh yeah, bring the disagree. Alex, I know, I'm sure Elon told you exactly the volume that they're able to scale it at. It doesn't mean I'm not optimistic. We just got to be a little careful here. Just like, they said in 2020, all you had to do to get lithium out of the ground was mix a little salt and water, stir it up, and you extract the lithium. What happened to that? So I'm optimistic. I think, however, it may take a few more longer than we think for it to ramp the volume.
Well, to the lithium, they're building a lithium refinery in Corpus Christi. So I'm guessing they have faith in what they're doing. How many stuff have you been building, like to oppose all your skepticisms to Elon? Nothing. You just buy buy puts and go short on the stock. That's all you do. They're actually building stuff, investing money, real money. Go ahead, Omar.
Well, he's actually selling puts.
Well, this time he's selling puts, but before he was buying them.
That's very rare. But yeah, you know, I took my degree in mechanical engineering and did jack shit with it.
You know, believe it or not, you guys can't drop any sort of F-bombs or anything today, and probably in the next few episodes, unfortunately.
Did I really drop something with the last episode or the one before? I don't remember. It's like,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
all these
you
bad
did.
people
You
you
did.
have on the,
Yeah.
you know, if we had like civilized people on the board, you know, it'd be so much easier not to. But when you got like people like Machine, you know, I can't just help myself but to
Hey,
unconsciously.
Machine, did you hear that? It's your fault. It's all your fault.
Well, that's typically the mindset of losers who want to blame everything on other people. You know, they want to be over optimistic. This guy, basically, he retweets everything Elon posts now. I see. Elon just says, I took a big dump. And Alex is like retweeting. He's like, oh, look, Elon's finally getting the nutrition he needs. I don't know. He's retweeting about Elon talking about Christianity. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, man. But I'm just here to be the realist, okay? I'm not trying to be cynical. I'm just trying to be real. I'm not fake. This is the real me. This is my real I, believe it or not.
No, I'm just like, honestly, like, why am I retweeting it? Because he's tweeting so much, posting so much these days that I don't think people even see his replies. I don't get notifications for them.
Yeah.
So in the
I know.
morning, I have to go hunting because he's been up till 4 a.m., like posting stuff. Most of it is like politics and stuff. But once in a while, you get like, oh, there's this thing that he said about, you know, FSD or whatever, 4680 production or something. So I just try to bring it to the surface because it might be a reply to a reply and nobody sees it.
Yeah. Alexander.
Well spent time.
Yeah. Hey, Omar, what the hell's going on with Intel?
You know, I haven't looked into it too much, but their stock is shitting the bed.
27%. Wow.
Yeah, I think they had troubles with chips. Like they're extending like a warranty on chips. I came across an article about that.
Down
Yeah.
40% in 2 weeks.
And their mobilized parent as well. So kind of an interesting situation there. I mean, they've just been getting beaten down for years. Once they were the chip company, right? Every Windows PC came with an Intel processor. And over time, they've just taken one hit after another. The mobile phone world going to ARM. Now they're even using ARM in the data centers, right? People are buying like these Grace Hoppers ARM with NVIDIA GPUs. NVIDIA's taking more and more share. You've got, I mean,
Apple used to use Intel for a long time.
Apple doing their own chips, right? So they've just really been taking hits on every side. You know, even Mobileye has struggled to move from their sort of IQ basic lane assist product to their supervision system. So expectations are down there for their sales by quite a lot. Yes, it's not really a company that's been well managed for quite some time.
Yeah. Thank you. You know, Machine, we have a reply from Tesla Doctor. Says, I'd rather take advice from the staff at the White House, or sorry, Waffle House, than from Machine. I completely misread that.
You know, sometimes I tell my daughters to call me doctor, and they refuse. They say, "You're not a real doctor." I'm like, I have a doctor in philosophy. Excuse me.
Is it a philosophy, really? I thought it was like data science. So it's actually even worse.
No, that's if you. Oh, you poor soul.
Bravo, Yaman. You just like opened the door now. Machine is going to ream you real good. Go ahead. Go ahead, Machine.
So a PhD, which no one else, of course, in your audience has. You're all really, really high school graduates probably, everyone gets a doctor in philosophy in whatever you study. So I have a doctorate in philosophy of biomedical engineering. I don't know why. I don't know how to explain it. It's very weird.
Okay, that makes more sense. You said a bunch of words, but I'm sure you're very smart. Inflexity?
Yeah, you were asking about Intel. Do you want some news? Lay off 15,000 people, about 10% of the workforce. And yesterday on the after earnings, they reduced their guidance for this year. And then they are saying that their foundry business, which they are investing into heavily from the CHIPS grants, is going to be slower in operation than they were expecting.
Okay, thank you very much, Inflexity. Yeah, I mean, this stock price is worst in more than a decade for Intel now. Quite a story. Steve?
It's their biggest fall since 1992.
Yeah, thank you. Steve? Steve, what's your question?
Yes, I had a, quick on Intel. Obviously, under a lot of pressure, from NVIDIA as well as AMD. I think AMD is something to keep an eye on as well. But getting back to Tesla, it's like, if you've been in the space like I have, before I bought a Tesla, I was actually
in Steve, first-time speakers are limited to asking questions. We have 10 minutes left. What else is new? Alexander.
Figure 2?
Yeah, what about it? Is it coming out?
Omar shared a tweet of that, I think. Can you speak of that,
Omar, what's the news with Figure 2?
Well, I guess they've got a new robot. It's the Figure 2, so I guess they're not going to make the Figure 1. This is kind of like when Tesla releases a design revision of their Optimus, so they're going to have something to show. I'll be interested to see what they have to present.
Machine.
I mean, Figure the company. Here we have a real robotic startup rapidly iterating through their technology with the best AI scientists and led by a CEO who's not a nut job or fat.
Oh my God. Wow, you're full force today. About Tesla.
Hey, Aman, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. Just stopped by to make an announcement that there is a new version FSD coming out. Looks like it's been released to employees, so maybe Omar and other early access users will start getting it this weekend. It's v12.5.1.1, and it's on 21 branch, which is kind of odd. So it's 2024.21. Let me see what the exact version is. It's 2024.21.5. So that's something to be on the lookout. Keep an eye out.
Thank you.
For this coming weekend.
Thank you. Omar, what do you make of this 12.5.1.1 on 21 branch?
Yeah, there was recently a software recall related to not notifying you that the frunk was unlatched. So I bet this probably includes that fix for the FSD version and probably doesn't have much change to the FSD itself.
Thank you. Luce.
They are running out of versions numbers before 12.69.
Thank you. Machine.
I just have to respond to someone tweeting here. Nice guy, Rich. Rich wrote an article about FSD helping him with his dad. Yet in the article, he bashed me, and now he's still bashing me with some claim that I hate FSD, which is ridiculous. I love FSD. Ask Omar the YouTube videos where I've been in the car. Don't I get giddy and excited? I love FSD. It's a great L2 assist.
Listen, actions speak louder than words. If you love FSD so much, you would have gotten hardware 3. The fact that you haven't gotten hardware 3 tells us everything that's coming out of your mouth is a lie.
I'm waiting obviously the hardware is not a limitation according to Meta. So I'm just waiting for it to be delivered to my hardware 2.5. I don't see why they can't condense it. I mean, obviously there's no limitation.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you in the shower?
I'm about to go in. So just be prepared, everyone. We're about to stream live video.
You know, video's enabled on Spaces now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want me to start? I can start one.
Don't push the wrong button. No, you can't do it. Actually, I have to allow it at first. All right. Anything else? Anything else? Let me just look through Omar's page.
Hey, Yaman.
Yeah.
A interview dropped with Lex and Elon and the Neuralink team.
Oh, really? Today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
It's
I'm gonna
8
watch that.
hours. 8 hours.
8 hours? Why? Are they doing surgery? Why?
I put it in the comments.
Okay. Okay, I guess it's a weekend project then. Maybe I'll just put it on while I sleep. See what happens. Lex Friedman has a really good channel. Really, really good. And I hope these one-on-one interviews turn into something like that. That would be really cool. He's got it down, very professional, very insightful. It's a little too long, I think, but I actually saw him walking around a couple of times in Austin. He's always kind of on his phone, listening to something. Lincoln?
Hey, I don't know what you guys were just talking about. I went over the YouTube video. It looks like it's multiple interviews with the Neuralink team at different times. They're all combined into one video.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, that makes more sense. All right. Tesla China delivered 74,000 plus vehicles in July. Tesla China doing really well despite all the
Insurance in
economic.
China, insurance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what is that about? Just starting a Tesla insurance program?
Yeah, well, they had started one, they canceled it. Now they started it back up. And there's some speculation around that it's linked with like FSD and the data center they're going to build there, and the authorization they got recently to, for government employees, so the car can actually access restricted areas because of the cameras and everything. So it might be all linked together, and also offering cheaper insurance than what's available over there.
Thank you. Lincoln mentioned something yesterday, Omar, about Tesla Insurance and FSD. And before we get to that, this Tesla Live, this episode is sponsored by Joa Life. If you use code TSLA Live, you get 5% off. I get 5%. And that money goes towards improving this space.
What is Joa Life?
Aftermarket parts company, and they're focused very much on Tesla. They have great products. We've mentioned a number of times people who have purchased and used their products, they appear to be very happy about it. So if you use the code at the top, that's a referral code that benefits this space. And just also a quick note for members, like I mentioned at the beginning, there's an administrative issue right now. You may have received an email this morning about your membership. I'm going to resolve that right after this space, but it'll take 2 to 3 weeks for it to work through the system, and then things will be back to normal. In the meantime, I'm going to send the Dirty Tesla one-on-one interview to patrons, hopefully tonight, if not tomorrow morning. So if you're a patron, you can watch that interview as well. Okay, great. So Omar, Lincoln says yesterday, this is the last thing we're going to talk about. Lincoln said yesterday that Tesla insurance, in a way, sometimes disincentivizes using FSD, and here's how. Let's say you started driving manually, and you made an error, and you got dinged for something. If you use FSD after that, using FSD does not improve your score. Even though you're racking up miles, those FSD miles, the perfect FSD miles, don't count toward increasing your safety score. So you're kind of stuck with that error that you made earlier when driving manually. So if you make an error at the beginning when you're driving manually, you're kind of incentivized to continue to drive manually to improve, to make up for that error later on. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think that's true. I think that when you're on FSD, it does add miles, but they're just miles that are scored at 100. So driving with FSD more is actually going to improve your score. And
yeah, so
also
Lincoln disagrees with that.
Yeah,
Lincoln?
I mean, that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know if, maybe he can show me what he's seeing offline. But also just in general, I don't really, you know, understand the people who want to change their driving style dramatically because of the Tesla insurance. Like if you find that you can't enjoy your car or use it the way you're supposed to, or, if you're driving the car the way you normally do and the insurance ends up being more expensive, then just get a regular insurance, right? You know, why do all of that? But the way it's supposed to work is that the more you drive with Tesla insurance on FSD, the higher your score is and the lower your rate is.
Lincoln, would you like to say a couple of things before we finish it up?
Yeah, that's not accurate. So what happens is if you get a forward collision warning and you have like maybe a 50% score that day, if you use FSD, it does add miles and those miles count. However, you don't get 100%. Like it doesn't increase your score. So you'll still end up with a 50 or whatever for the whole day. If you start driving manually, then your score increases. So it's frustrating, but
okay. Machine.
Can I have a little political rant?
No, this is not the time. On Monday. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Happy Friday. Tonight, Alex is having a space. Alex, you said 9:30 Eastern, correct?
That's right.
All right. I'll be there as a listener.
No, you can come up and ask questions.
Well, I got to do other things, but I will be there one way or another. Thank you very much, everybody. And I will talk to you all next time. Take care.